Welcome to another edition of Afr Foot, your one-off stop for everything, where everything goes without fear, favor, or prejudice. Today, I'm with Sash Chalwe, my co-host, and we're just going to debate, deliberate, and talk about football as we know it, not what we have seen lately. I mean, everything has been about off-the-field stuff happening in in the West, in USA, Canada, Mexico, particularly in the US. I mean, there's been controversy after controversy. I don't know what to make of this thing as such. I mean, what we've seen to lately about American politics getting involved in football. We did touch on it about fair play or lack of it. Now I think it's gone another notch up, where the FIFA president Gianni Infantino, had a hand, so to say, in reversing or suspending a suspension. Where have you seen this such a suspension being suspended?
This is it's America. This is America. It's a movie. mm. I think this is a. There's no phrase that's more abused than fair play in modern football. We've been talking fair play, fair play, fair play, but when you analyze what's been happening, it's really a movie. Um, because we don't have actual evidence, but it's all over. It's all over. It's all over social media. And once it's all over social media, it's been leaked. So we're talking about Gianni Infantino and the president of America, Donald Trump. Apparently, he called he called Infantino. He phoned Infantino to rescind the red card on Folorani Bologan. So, how fair is that? Because I know a lot of Africans are also asking themselves, if FIFA can do that, what about the the South African player Mshishi, who was given a red card and never even participated in the World Cup? He missed 3 games. Where is the fairness in that? Where is the fair play in that? Hmm? Zwane Zwane was sent off for foul. That was a soft foul, and he was given his matching orders. So now FIFA is changing the rules. That's why I said earlier on, it depends on what kind of passport you have. What kind of passport you have. You have a certain passport, you go first class. You have a certain passport, second class. So where is the fair play in that? Shanko?
But we have seen it. I mean, the first game of Argentina, Messi's foul was never sanctioned, not even intervention of VAR. Like you're saying, it depends who you are. It looks like it's got eyes. I mean, if you are a superstar, you are untouchable. If you are a nobody from Africa or from Asia, if you are not known, then sanctions will go your way or your country. But this is not how football should be. This is how football never was. And but these days looks like this is where we're going. What kind of trend are we setting when politics get involved in football and decisions are taken off the field but affect what's happening on the field?
Yeah, imagine, because such decisions can't just be made by one person. There should be a disciplinary board that sits down, evaluates evaluates the situation. They take footage, watch the footage, and review. There should be a review board that actually looks into such such issues. But unfortunately, this decision was just taken by one person. What does that tell you? If a decision can be taken by one person when FIFA is a mother body of football, is a custodian of football, and I, as Sashi, make a decision about football when I have a, a million, a million, I have a million associations that are following FIFA, and I just make one decision based on a phone call. What kind of fair play is that? What are we telling the coming generation? This is uncalled for. This is unfair, and I think Africans need to start reviewing and thinking about their next, the next vote, because if you look at the Messi challenge, Messi had a very bad challenge on a player that it was actually a career-ending injury, but VAR saw it. The ref was actually on the spot. He was right there. He saw it, and he just said, "Play on." So if my name is not Messi, or my name is not known into in these uh, up there, it means I'm in trouble, because there was a similar situation where another player had a similar challenge. He got his matching orders. He got his matching orders. So now we have to start thinking, what's going on? Is this the FIFA that we really want to be taking us forward into the next World Cup? Is this the FIFA that we really want to see in the next coming years? That means the next coming years are going to be very difficult. We need to be up there for us to be respected and heard as football people. So it's a very disturbing situation right now.
Already we've seen a new change. A football game has got four halves. It has never happened when your football matches to have two halves. But in this World Cup, we've got four halves. After 22 minutes, there's a break. There's even commercial break, just to accommodate sponsors, and then you play second half of the first half. And then you've got the first half as we know it, halftime. Then 67th minute is another break where there's a commercial adverts there. And then, where are we going?
I thought about it. I thought about the four halves, and I'm thinking, which game is this? Are we playing basketball but using our feet now? Because only in America can such things happen. Like America, anything is possible, like they say. They've turned what is a beautiful game into 4 quarters now. You've got these 4 breaks. That break your momentum, it breaks your rhythm, it breaks everything about the game. You have to start when you're preparing for a match, you warm up. You have to prepare your body. You have to prepare your body for the main game, for the first 45 minutes. Now imagine you warm up twice. You have to warm up twice. You have to get your body ready twice because of these water breaks. Yes, we understand there's water breaks, but every now and then, players are very smart people. Every now and then, when a player is thirsty, what does he do? He moves towards the bench, gets a sip, and then the game continues. There's always injuries, or there's always something that's happening on the pitch that a player goes, and then he has a sip of water. But now bringing these breaks, yes, they're trying to accommodate the people who are funding them, the sponsors, but they could have found a different way of doing it, because it's not football anymore. We're watching football. There are moments in football, and then just because of the water break that they put, it cuts the momentum of the game and it slows everything down, and the whole game has to restart all over again. So the excitement, the intensity, the beauty of the game is going out the window slowly, very slowly, and sooner or later they're going to bring in more, because everything keeps changing. Keeps
Mm.
changing. They're going to bring in more rules and say, okay, from now on we'll be doing things this way and that way. And what can we do but just say, since it's FIFA saying it, we accept, and follow suit.
But should it be like we have to accept everything that is being said? I mean, last week we touched a bit on the issue of those who are leading the sport. Are they people who have vested interest in what is happening? Are these people the right caliber of people who have? These are people who have never played at the highest level. Do we have the right people running our football? If these kind of decisions are taken, it looks like now it's like an NBA, it's like a basketball matches or netball matches where you've got 4 quarters.
Hmm. Sometimes um, you need you don't need somebody who's played football fully, but you need somebody who's played football to be next to you.
Mm,
Sometimes it's all about what is in your heart and what you want to give out to the football fraternity. You might not have played the game, but always try and get somebody who's played the game, because the story of footballers can never be told by anybody but the footballer himself.
true that.
The pains, the gains, the beautiful moments, hmm, the late nights, the training sessions, the sweat, and the journey of football itself. Nobody can tell that story but the footballer himself, and the way of thinking. Footballers think differently. They think so differently when they're on the pitch, because sometimes there's a perception that footballers, just because somebody's playing football, people, they have this perception that footballers are slow. Lack of a better term, they're slow.
Mm,
Not knowing that just to calculate the flight of the ball from one direction to the other, it takes
mm.
calculation. Just to make that pass from here to there, it takes calculations. And these people that are leading us in football, they really have to think about the footballer first, because this is our sport. And without the footballer, there's no football.
So I think lastly on this subject, I mean, there have been calls for Infantino to go after all the mess that is brought to the game. I mean, without doubt, he's brought football into disrepute. And it all points out to him, as the head, as the man in charge. If all goes wrong, then he should be blamed. He should shoulder responsibility. Although I've never seen anyone taking responsibility when things go pear-shaped. And it's not surprising that he's already absolved himself to say he was not party to this decision of Balogan's red card being suspended. Although I like Donald Trump, he calls a spade a spade. He said it himself that he had a chat with Infantino and then raised his unhappiness and voiced his unhappiness, and hence the decision to suspend the red card. Do you
Mm.
think it's time for him to go, Infantino, and then pave way for someone?
Shanko, we all make mistakes, and everything that's done in the dark will come to light, because right now Infantino is saying he wasn't part of the decision. So if he wasn't part of the decision, who made the decision then? That's one question we should be asking ourselves. Because ever since this World Cup that's being hosted in America was about to start, there's been a lot of scandals. There's been a lot of issues.
Mm.
As an as a FIFA president, the issues that should have been sorted out, but unfortunately they haven't been. So I don't know if it's You know, ever since Infantino came to the States, it's things have
Scandal
changed so
after
much.
scandal. There's been scandal after scandal from the
Yeah, yeah.
visa, the passport, the Iran team. You know, every VAR, we should blame him for everything.
We will blame him. Yes, we'll blame him. But maybe the other forces, we don't know. Maybe the other forces, but he might be part of it. But let's wait and see after the World Cup, because after the World Cup, you know, definitely there's going to be a review of the whole World Cup, and we'll hear what really happened and who's actually responsible. But you have to blame the head. You have to blame the head, and then the head will clean out his closet and say, bring out all the scandals, you know. But for now, he has to take the blame.
But as we know it, the justice had a way of being served. The red card or no red card. Belgium beat the USA to book a place in the quarterfinals. You know, on the field of play. You know, after all the noise that was said about the Balogun, the suspension, but Belgium said we're gonna show them, and indeed they did. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a beautiful game to watch. You know, after all the drama, because Belgium appealed the decision, and FIFA shut them down. FIFA shut them down. The FIFA didn't have the time to listen to anything that Belgium wanted to say, and I guess Belgium said, you know what, if we can't beat them in the boardroom, let's beat them on the field.
Mm,
That's exactly what they did, and they showed them. They taught them a football lesson. Karma does come back. It has a way of
mm.
sneaking back on you, and all that noise of a red card just to come and get beaten by Belgium. It was a beautiful game to watch.
They say justice is best served when it's hot.
Yeah,
And this is what exactly happened.
yes, definitely. That was good. You know, though we had to watch it in the AMs.
I mean, it's in
It was worth
America.
it.
It's America. What can we do? We are the slaves of football. It comes only once in 4 years. Eh? We
Yeah,
have
yeah,
to
once in four
exercise
years.
our sleep. And on a sad note, Ronaldo and Portugal, they waved the World Cup goodbye, and looks like this is the end. How do you feel about Ronaldo and his after six World Cups? He's never won it, not even coming closer to winning it, and now departing the big stage like that. You know.
Shank, you know, sometimes in life, you aim for certain goals, you keep climbing and climbing, you achieve things on your way, but there's always that one that eludes you. So for
Mm.
Ronaldo, I think he's achieved everything. He's done everything. And, you know, he should feel proud. He should walk with his head high because this is somebody who's given us almost 20 years of football at the highest level, performing at the highest level. 20
Mm.
years, it's the most difficult thing, being consistent. He has been consistent. And though the World Cup has eluded him, in his heart, you know, he gave it everything. So for any player who gives, when you give your all, even if you don't get the World Cup, you know, you feel a sense of happiness. You feel a sense of peace because you gave it everything. You've been trying and trying and trying, and God gave him all this talent to share with the world, and he's been sharing it. And we're happy to say thank you for, you know, sharing your talent with us. We've been watching him for the past 20 years. How many players have you seen that have been consistent for the past 20 years? Only a few. And right now, I think it's only Messi. Messi is the last one left. After Messi, we'll start picking out a few players, because after this World Cup, a lot of players are going to retire after this World Cup.
So, unfortunately, football is a team sport, unlike tennis. If he was a tennis player, I've got no doubt that he would have won all the Grand Slams. He would have been the way he performed, the way he carried the Portuguese team, the way he carried himself, the kind of talent that he is. But missing out on the World Cup, people are going to always judge him by that fact that this cup was elusive to him and blame him rather than the entire team to say he failed to win the most prestigious trophy in the world. Is this fair judgment?
No, the thing is, people are always going to judge, and people are very judgmental. They've always judged him. Whether he does good, they judge him. He has a bad game, they judge him. He doesn't score, they judge him. So I think now he's going to have a bit of peace of mind without hearing people judging, because I think after this, I think he's just going to concentrate on club level, and club football. And for the Portuguese national team, yes, he's carried the national team. He's done tremendous things for the national team.
Do you think even at club level, he still has what it takes to continue playing it in Saudi Arabia?
When the body is still okay, the body is right, and hopefully he's got a strong mind. He's got a strong mentality, so only he can decide. Because we look at age and say, no, he's 41, he's old. He's 41, he just scored at the World Cup. Some people haven't even scored at the World Cup.
Personally, I feel that his motivation, he was playing to be fit for the World Cup. After this World Cup, I honestly don't see him continuing. And I don't think there's still a motivation for him to continue. And I don't see him becoming a coach.
No, why would he become a coach? Maybe, out of passion, or out of, sometimes when you have that talent in your DNA, there's always something that you want to leave behind. So you can't just sit and say, I won't share this. He needs to share it. The secrets, the ideas, the way of thinking, the predatory instinct he had, the technique, the goal scoring ability. You just can't get that. But maybe from afar you'll try and share. I don't know. That's up to him, depending where his piece is. If his piece is still on the pitch, believe me, he might play another year.
Last week we were raving about 9 African teams making it to the last 32, the knockout stages. Well, it was good, on a positive side, that we had 9 out of 10 teams continuing. But what a disaster it has been in the last 32. We only had 2 making it out of the last 32 of the 9 teams. What went wrong?
That's something I've been asking myself. And we had all these African teams, and I'm thinking everybody was so happy with the last 32. In my mind, I was like, okay, fine, you make it to the last 32, you have to make it to the last 16. It's like Africa was very happy just with the last 32. It's not enough. I know the players gave it everything and they gave it all, but along the way we slacked off. Along the way we made silly mistakes. Along the way we made bad decisions. Some of these African teams, because if you analyze some of the games, most of these African teams were actually winning. They're actually winning. and then lapse in concentration, boom, the whole game changes. Lapse in concentration, boom. And it just didn't happen to one team, it happened to a few
Mm,
teams.
mm.
And when you listen to the comments made by that coach, what's his name again? Uh,
The coach from the Belgium coach.
yeah, I think it's the Belgium coach, yeah.
Yeah,
And he said,
yeah. The Belgium coach said, I knew that when they were leading 2-0, the mentality is going to defend
mm-hmm,
instead of attacking. And he was right. Because
yeah,
when you defend, you are the team is coming at you. And we are always told that the best form of defense is attack.
yeah, no, no, definitely. The best form of defense is attack. And like I said, we made African teams, we made bad decisions. We took the wrong decisions, wrong choices, and it affected most of the African teams. And after that, it was downhill. If you look at Morocco, Morocco has been a marvel to watch.
Mm,
Morocco has been a team that when you watch, you can see nobody's bossing them around. When you push, they push back. When you push harder, they push extra hard. And a lot of African teams, what's been happening is when you push harder, they don't push back.
they give up easily.
They
Yeah?
give up. But
Mm,
Morocco has been a different animal. They've been a lion for sure. They pushed and convincingly, convincingly. And we were proud of them and we're happy to keep supporting them. And we also look at Egypt. Egypt did the same.
mm,
Did the same. They didn't fall for the defensive trick of once you're leading, you start adding more defenders. No, the Morocco, Egypt kept on attacking until they got their goals, and kept attacking. The best form of defense is attack, and they played as a unit. But Shanko, also some of these African teams had problems prior to the World Cup. Even coming into the World Cup, they had problems. So I think even that affected them. So I don't want to, dwell on that too much, but
yeah,
background
but
problems.
well, I don't. I mean, to make it to the last 32 with those kind of problems, I don't see how those problems could have affected them going forward in the last 32. Yes, we still hear stories that Senegal is still not has not been paid, and even that they were stranded 5 days after they were knocked out. They were still in the US, because the federation did not book them flights out of the US. But what is the biggest lesson to be learned from all these mishaps, underperformance, mental weakness, and giving games away like that? Because it looks like after every World Cup, we always say we're going back to the drawing board, we're going back to the drawing board, and then we rub it off and then write again. Are we learning anything?
Africa, Africa, the drawing board is our favorite go-to place.
Hmm.
That one will always go back to it. Eh? We
Yeah,
need to go back to the drawing board. How long are you going to keep going to the drawing board? Isn't that
exactly.
drawing board tired now? Huh? Even a paper, when you write on it for too long, it gets messed up. Even the
Hmm.
drawing board gets tired. We there's always excuse after excuse. You know, earlier when we're talking about the right, all we need is the right people in football. A person who comes into football and says, "I want to do this and this for football," without other ulterior motives. But it seems people have ulterior motives. Look at Senegal. The stories you heard.
Hmm.
Senegal players went to the World Cup without their chef, and they had to fork out money out of their own pockets to buy
Hmm.
meals for themselves at a World Cup. What kind of professionalism is that? And you expect your team to perform? while management was busy enjoying themselves. It's stories coming out of Senegal is that the FA and FA people brought their own entourage to the World Cup. They brought friends and all that while failing to look after the team. How do players come to a World Cup and start spending their own money to buy food? How do you do that? And you're calling yourselves professional. That's not being professional. That's why I said when you're preparing for the World Cup, it takes a lot of preparation. Takes a lot of time. It's not just. It doesn't just start today and say I'm preparing, but no, it starts way before.
Yeah.
You plan ahead. So um, when the World Cup is concluded, you're gonna hear more stories. You're gonna hear more drama, and don't be surprised when you see a lot of people resigning.
Well, they've already resigned. Some have been reluctant to. One is Hugo Bruce. All of us, we knew that this will be his final tenure at the helm of Bafana Bafana. But now it looks like there's a change of mind. He says now he wants to win the AFCON. Are you surprised by the turnaround? I mean, at 74, 5, or even 80, I mean, what do you make of him? And do you think Stafford should stick with him? Looking at his age, for me personally, I think he's reached the ceiling. There's nothing more that he could do for Bafana Bafana. I mean, I've judged him over the period that he's been there, what he lacks, what he brings, or what he brought to the team. And I don't see anything more coming from him. I'm not sure if you've got a different take from mine.
We have to give Bros all the credit for what he's done for the team. And came, he has taken the team to the next level. Yeah, and we have to give him credit for that. And
Of course,
he's a tremendous coach. He's a top coach, and we have to appreciate that. The man has the right to change his mind. The man has been eating vegetables. Now he wants to eat chicken. So he's decided he wants chicken. So let him have his chicken. Wants to taste it. The African chicken has been tasting so nice that he still wants to continue. So
yeah, but yes, now, what do you think? Do you think that's the right decision? If you were in charge of Safa, would you give him more time at the helm?
Unfortunately, I'm not in charge of Safa, so I won't comment on those corners. But I kind of see the angles that Safa is trying to keep them, because I think that they're still trying to either find the replacement for him, or they want the Hellman to keep absorbing the knowledge for, I don't know how long is he going to stay. So during the World Cup, everybody was a coach. During the World Cup, everybody is a coach. Everybody's analyzing. Everybody analyzed the mistakes that Bafana made. Everybody analyzed the shortcomings. Everybody said, no, if Hugo had done this and that, we could have won this game. So, and you put all those pieces together, and everybody's saying, no, I don't think we need Hugo anymore. But believe me, you do need him. Let him finish on his terms, and let him live on his terms. He's almost done. And
what more can he bring to the team?
I think even he saw his own shortcomings. As a coach, you analyze yourself too and say, okay, fine, I see where I made my mistakes. I need to make. He wants to make right on the wrongs that he did, and I think there are certain players that he wants to call up that he didn't give an opportunity at the World Cup. There are players who were dropped before the World Cup. And I think there are certain players he still wants to call, and he wants to finish on a high with them. So watch the space. He's going to call up a few players that didn't get the opportunity that they deserved. And maybe also on the coaching stuff, I don't know who he wants to rope in or what plans he still has with Hellman. So that relationship between him and Hellman, it's a healthy relationship. So I think he still wants to continue that relationship
Do
until he
you
wins the
think?
World Cup.
Do you
The
think?
AFCON.
Do you think he should continue, and up until when? Because look at the Afcon qualifiers are starting now in August, September for next year's Afcon.
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah, but why change coaches already? It if he stopped on his terms, it would have been okay. And then
But he's the one who said, "No, World Cup is my last tournament for this Bafana. I've got children. I want to go and spend time with them." Now that you say he's tasted chicken, he wants more.
yeah, you know, I was expecting him, yes, to retire and enjoy his time with his grandkids and all that. But when he changes this, yeah, man has the right to change his decision. So let him be. He's 75. What is he gonna do? Let his grandkids come and visit him here. Unless Safa takes a drastic decision and say, you know what, we need to bring in a local coach.
When is, because there's no perfect timing in this world. You cannot say this is the right time. We should have done it long time ago. Because in few months' time, you look back and say, but you should have done it then. But now is the perfect time. Well, that's for me. This is what I'm thinking, that for now, I think, because I don't see anything new that is going to bring to the table to Bafana Bafana.
Yeah. Perfect time, yes. I think Safa is also thinking in the same terms to say, hey, we don't want to lose a coach now and start scouting for a new coach. I don't think they're ready for that. I think they're saying, you know what, we already have a bird in the hand. Let's keep the same bird that we have in the hand and rather go into the bush and start looking for other birds. So let's keep this bird that we have.
This bird that we have, I don't see it flying. Looks like the feathers are gone. This what I'm thinking. If I were in charge of Safa, I'll make those drastic decisions and get someone, because I think the problem that Safa has now is that they did not, or they have not identified anyone, even though they knew that the coach was on his last leg with the team. But we've seen the German coach is gone.
Mm-hmm.
Netherlands coach is gone. The South Korea coach is gone.
Mm.
And these are coaches who are falling on themselves, on their own without being pushed. But others are obviously being stubborn, even though they failed at the World Cup. Because whether we like it or not, this is where you judge coaches, the performance at the World Cup.
No, you're definitely right. A lot of coaches have left, and that's how it should be. If you don't reach the desired mandate that you're supposed to reach, you resign amicably, and you step aside and say, you know what, I haven't achieved my goal, so I think I didn't reach the target that I was given, so I am stepping down, and best of luck to the team. May you find a suitable candidate who might take the team to greater heights. And to be honest, yeah, when you look at Bafana can reach greater heights. You've seen the potential. The potential is there. The
Yeah,
talent
but
is there.
we've been talking about the potential for a long time. We always promising, but we never reach those heights that we expect them to reach.
At the AFCON, they did reach those heights. You could see they're on a different level.
Yeah, but no one remembers the third best. We want to be champions.
No, 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 no one.
But
No one.
anyway, one coach who's under pressure is Ancelotti. I mean, he failed with Brazil. I don't know. He hasn't said anything about leaving so far. Remember, he's the first coach who's not a Brazilian to lead the Brazilian team. They always depend and rely on their
On the
own.
locals.
Yeah, the locals. But yeah, but what surprised me the most, but knowing him, is that he went with the tried and tested. I mean, there are some players who I never thought they were still in the team. Old players who, I mean, the Santos, Casemiro, they're all in their 30s. And I don't see young players coming up. Is this the beginning of the end for Brazil as we know it?
You know, Brazil hasn't been performing to its level for the past World Cups. It hasn't done so well, and hence maybe they decided to go with Ancelotti. Every now and then you need to refresh your squad. You need to mix experience and youth, and I don't think Brazil did that. Hence, you saying he came with the tried and tested. Football is changing. Football is changing everywhere. Like we said earlier on, look at what Morocco does. Morocco is a team that's not afraid. It's a team that competes pound for pound. You know, when they lose, they'll lose, but they fought pound for pound with their own identity. A lot of teams are playing football without their own, without the playing, without the identity. Morocco has been creating the football identity for a while, and now they've grasped it and they're playing it to the best of their ability, to perfection.
They're mastering it now.
They're mastering it, and you know, when you watch them, you already know that Hakimi is going to be far up the pitch when they're on the offensive. When they're defending, he's already running back. Sometimes he's late, but there's already somebody covering him. You already know Morocco is a very enterprising team. You know, they've given that no fear attitude that we once had in Africa, but now it's totally different. And when you go pound for pound, you know, you expose a lot of things about teams, and that's what Morocco has done. Morocco has been exposing a lot of teams. Morocco is.
But this is what we used to know about Brazil playing with the fullbacks. I mean, you used to have Roberto Carlos, you used to have Cafu, you have Dani Alves, you had Marcelo.
Cafu.
This Brazilian team now looks like a shadow of their own, of themselves. I mean, I couldn't even recognize them, how they were playing, and then the players that do they still produce the best players?
They produce players. They do produce good players right now, but the identity is somehow distorted. Just like you just mentioned now, because Brazil was a team, even from the late 70s. You watch the old 70s World Cup tapes. Brazil had fullbacks. Those fullbacks used to go up and down, up and down. 80s, same thing happened. That was Brazil's football identity. That was the philosophy. Creative players, finishers, your Peles, your Zicos, your Carecas.
Mm.
And we knew every World Cup that we've been watching, or if you've watched these VHS tapes, you go back in history and you just watch Brazil.
Yeah,
It's the
I
same
see,
identity.
you're revealing your age
No,
yourself.
no. Uh,
VHS.
uh, 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 my family was a footballing family,
Oh,
so there were VH tapes that I
so
had.
where are they now? Where are you staking them? You still play them? Do you have
I don't.
those?
No, they've been passed on and passed on. They've moved on. I don't even know where they are anymore. What I'm trying to say is Brazil's identity in every World Cup was always the same.
Yeah.
When they line up, you already know they've got fullbacks who'll be going up. They've got creative players, the ball players in that team. They've got finishers. There's going to be somebody who's going to be dancing on the ball because when Brazil plays, it used to be art.
Mm.
You're
Mm.
watching poetry with the feet, and you enjoy it. But nowadays, it has changed,
Not
and Brazil
anymore.
doesn't do that anymore. So the football identity has been distorted. It's moving in a different direction, and we don't. Maybe it's because of this. They're exporting a lot of players in the wrong leagues. What kind of Brazilian player goes and plays in the EPL? Most Brazilians that go and play in the
Well,
EPL,
they had a few. Martinelli was supposed to be their playmaker.
yes,
The goalkeeper is from Liverpool. Casemiro is from, well, he played for Manchester. You had Igo, the striker who played the first game and then was never played again. You've got the one who missed the penalty, Gutierrez. I mean, in that team that lost to Norway, they had about 5 or 6 players from the EPL. And if you know how the EPL is playing, I mean, yeah, it's not surprising though.
it's 100 kilometers per hour, and the Brazilian favor, the samba, has disappeared. It
Mm,
has disappeared completely. The last player we saw you know, who brought the samba was Ronaldinho.
mm.
As for Neymar, Neymar has been injured. He's been injured, and he can't deliver the goods right now because he had an agreement with what's his name, Ancelotti. Ancelotti and Neymar. The agreement between them was that if Brazil is down, Neymar will come on every
And
time
do what?
Brazil,
And
yeah,
do what?
to
Mm.
come and try and change the game. If
Yeah.
Brazil is the game is on 0-0, Neymar will come on, and that's in the 60th minute. The agreement was the 60th minute, but unfortunately things turned out differently. So I know they're going to revamp the whole Brazil team now.
Well, let's talk about the upcoming fixtures. The big one, well, all of them are big. Look at Morocco versus France. This is
Mm.
the semi-final of the 2022 World Cup in Qatar. One must die, eh?
Hey, that's a big, when you reach this stage, they're all big
Mm,
because there's only one result that's needed is a win. When you lose, you pack your bags and leave. So for this one, yes, I'm rooting for Morocco as much as I'll root for France because all those boys in the France team are still Africans. Of they're still Africans, so it's gonna be may the best team win.
you don't want to tie yourself, eh?
I don't want to tie myself because football is a very, very, very complex sport.
Mm,
Sometimes, if luck is on your side, even the oddest, when the wind shifts your direction,
mm.
you get a goal.
Another interesting match is Norway, where Haaland is going to come up against England. We saw how Haaland, I mean, he's now leading the chart with 7 goals. He looks like he's not interested in the game, but give him a slight chance. He pounds.
Haaland is your Typical number 9. He fades out, you forget about him. Then when you try and look up, you just see the ball in the back of the net. He's that kind of a striker. He's a predator. He's sniffing around. And when he plays weak defenders or defenders that lose concentration every now and then, he plays defenders that don't communicate, you're in trouble. He looks for defenders. You give him that space, he stands in between you, and that's what he wants. Then every now he's explosive. He saves his energy for the right time, right moment. Bam, goal.
That English defense, just like Marquinhos and Gabriel, do you see them stopping him? He knows them. He plays with Gueli at Man City, the sponsor from Aston Villa.
And
These are the players who know him. Eh?
Yeah. They all know him. So it's going to be a battle. So I think Thomas Tuchel, he might change his personnel at the back because Haaland, you need to be physical. You need to frustrate him. You need to be on him every second. If you go back in time and you remember a game between Man City and was Real Madrid, where Rudiger was handling Haaland. Rudiger was physical. Rudiger was in Haaland's face. He was forever present.
That's the only way to stop him.
You can use those tactics. But you have to be physical. Don't give him the space. He always wants the space behind you, and he's very clever, very, very clever. Maybe
lastly, there's Belgium. They look like they're peaking at the right time. They started slowly, and now they're coming up against Spain. Eh?
Yeah. Sometimes you need to peak, and this thing of this World Cup, we had a lot of teams, and sometimes you need to peak at the right time, and I think Belgium are peaking at the right time, and they might actually, show flames because Lukaku seems to be also peaking. He had an injury, so he was out for a while. So this has given him time to recover, and
and gain fitness.
Gain fitness as time goes on. So it's gonna be dog eats dog. It's gonna be dog eats dog.
Where's your money on? I know you said you don't have money and then you don't play lotto, but this one, I think your prediction,
For which game?
For Belgium and Spain.
When I look at Spanish defenders are your classy defenders. Spain will play the ball until they reach the box. Maybe only Lamine Yamal or Ferran Torres or what's his other name? There are a few players in Spain that actually take shots from outside the box. Most of them want to walk with the ball into the box. So I can see Lukaku getting a goal. And I can also see Yamal getting a goal. Because that's a very enterprising player. He's a very direct player. He's direct. He wants to score. He wants to influence the game. And is forever thinking offensively. Even sometimes I was even surprised when he did his defensive duties and said, okay, this boy is actually improving, So if Kevin De Bruyne is managed to stay fit and Lukaku managed to stay fit, I see Belgium upsetting Spain.
Well, Sash, we can talk until tomorrow morning. The unfortunate part is that time is not on our side. As always, I think it's always good to have an honest conversation about football. And then I think we touched on everything that we needed to touch on. And it's been a pleasure getting your views, your honest views, I must say. And then, like we said, we sometimes agree to disagree. This is the beauty of football.
Yeah, most definitely. Football is a game of opinions, and we should disagree to agree. And hopefully, we can have another chat in the upcoming weeks or week, and enjoy ourselves again. It's always good to get your views too.
Yeah, no, it's nice to have a cup of coffee. So this is what Afro Foot is all about, engagement, honest engagement, and talk about football on and off the field. Until next time, ciao.
Ciao.